Guys, Donald Trump has been throwing a temper tantrum all across Truth Social. You know, it is only a few hours out from the election and the polls are not looking good for him. Now, before we dive straight into this video, please do me the biggest favor and like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this month. I know, a little ambitious. We're at 268, but I believe with the community that we're building, we can totally do this. Now, let's hop right into this. So, as you can see, we have pulled up over here. Donald Trump has been having a little bit of a crybaby fest all across Truth Social. This is what he wrote. So many fake polls are being shown by the radical left media, all slanted heavily towards Democrats and far left wingers. In the fair polls, even the reasonable polls, I have the best numbers I have ever had, and why shouldn't I? I ended 8 wars, created the greatest economy in the history of our country, kept prices, inflation, taxes down, and I'm setting standards for the right track, wrong track for a future USA. Fake news will never change. They are evil and as corrupt, but as I looked around my beautiful surroundings, I say to myself, oh, look, I'm sitting in the Oval Office. To me, it sounds like dude needs a hug. Now, let's go ahead and just crack that wide open because the polling is abysmal at best. This is the worst polling he's had in both his first term and his second term. Let's jump straight into the clip.
I mean, the common denominator here is Donald Trump, and Democrats are on the precipice of delivering a huge blow to Donald Trump in his second term. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we just look? Democrats lead all the key races. You go to New Jersey governor. That's really the only close one. Mikey Sherrill, the Democrat, up by 6 points. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, up by 10. And Zohran Mamdani, up by 16 points in New York City. The bottom line is this. Yes, there are ideological differences between the Democrats, but the key common component is they are all going after Donald Trump, and all the Democrats lead from New Jersey to Virginia to New York City. They all lead the Republican and independent opponents.
How much is he impacting the cases? Never mind that they want to beat him in their minds. It's sort of like, hey, this is to show you that we can beat you. But how much is he affecting these?
I mean, look, Donald Trump is a huge drag in all of these races. Look at his net popularity ratings. In New Jersey, he's 11 points underwater. Virginia, 14 points underwater. Not much of a big surprise in New York. He's 35 points underwater. And I will note nationally in my aggregated polls, he's about 13 points underwater. In our CNN poll, he's way below that, which looks a lot like New Jersey, a lot like Virginia. So these races, in my mind, could be huge bellwethers going into next year to understanding how Donald Trump is impacting these races. He is a huge drag in across the board, New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City.
Do these races tell us anything about the midterm as to what happens here and what might happen in the midterm?
Yeah, okay, so I was mentioning, of course, Donald Trump being a huge drag, right? He's at his second term lows, not just in our CNN poll, but across the different polls that we were looking at this weekend. And why is it that these races are so important? Well, go back through history, jump in that DeLorean, look at what has happened when Democrats sweep New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia governor. They won the U.S. House the next year 5 out of 5 times in the last 90 years. You go all the way back to the FDR administration. So the bottom line is this. When Democrats do well in these off-year elections, when they sweep New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City, historically speaking, that means they go on to win the U.S. House of Representatives the next time around. And when we're in this national polarized environment and Donald Trump is as unpopular as he is, I think that history is likely to hold if, in fact, Democrats do sweep tomorrow, which at this point looks more likely than not.
Don't you just love when the news comes out and it's exactly what you want to hear? Now, remember, we can't be lackadaisical. We can't be apathetic. We need to make sure that when it's time to vote, you're out voting. I don't care if that's in Pennsylvania. I don't care if that's in South Carolina. I don't care if that's in Texas. I don't care if that's in New York. I don't care if that's in Virginia or California with Prop 50. We need to make sure that we're voting en masse. The only way you can let Republicans know and understand that, hey, everything y'all are doing is bullshit. And when 2026 comes, we're coming and we're busting open the door with a nice blue wave for you. Big blue wave. You can only do that by voting. And maybe, just maybe, they might change some course. We have been seeing some of that with Republicans voting to cut some of Donald Trump's tariffs. We've been seeing some of that with them not kowtowing to him, asking for them to end the filibuster, because they already know if they end the filibuster, it's over. Democrats, we have been wanting to get student loan relief. We have been wanting to give universal health care. We have been wanting to give a living wage. We have been wanting to get universal child care. Without the filibuster, all those things are available for us. I'm like, don't threaten us with a good time. Do you know how long Democrats would be in power if we did not have the filibuster? Republicans, do not threaten us with a good time. Now let's jump into the next clip.
Let's start with the big number, the approval.
Yeah, this isn't going to be welcome news, obviously, at the White House. As you noted, that 37% approval in our brand new poll by SSRS, it's his low water mark in this term, and that 63% disapproval, Dana, that's the highest his disapproval number has been across both of his terms. In fact, let's look at term 1 versus term 2. Obviously, a lot more data points in term 1. It has all 4 years here, and you can see what the line on his approval rating did over time. He ended that term in the aftermath of January 6th at his all-time low at 34% approval. This is where we are this year so far in the second. You see here, he started even higher than he was in the first term, and it's just been a steady decline in his approval rating throughout the year. Why some of that may be happening? Well, some of it is some key components of his coalition from just a year ago when he won the presidential election again. He's now only at 28% approval with independent voters. Young voters, he's at 29% approval, 18 to 34-year-olds. People of color, where he made inroads, especially with males of color in the last election, he's only at 22% approval. And non-college voters, this is all non-college, he's at 40% approval, but even just among white non-college, which is a key part of his base, he's at just a bare majority, 52% approval. So these are some key groups where he was looking to hope to extend his advances, and now he sees the work he has to do.
And in 2024, President Trump campaigned heavily on affordability, grocery prices, inflation. What do voters think about his performance on the economy now?
Well, first of all, it is the top issue far and away for voters. 47% in our polls say that the economy, cost of living, top issue, then democracy, immigration, crime, and healthcare you see there. And here's the reality. 61% of Americans say that Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions. Only a quarter of Americans say Trump's policies improve conditions, so he's getting a failing grade on what is clearly the top issue for voters.
And, this all, you would presume, is good news for Democrats, but it's no secret they've been struggling to get back on their footing since last year's election. What do voters think of the way they're doing?
Yeah, we're a year out from the midterms, obviously, so we took our first look at that generic congressional ballot. You see here, Democrats have a 5-point advantage, 47% to 42% in terms of which party would you vote for your member of Congress if the election were today. That's a D+5 advantage.
But as you can see, y'all, the polling is not in the Republicans and Trump's favor. We just have to do our part. We have to go out. We have to vote. And yes, I know that Democrats, we have some work we need to do. We need our leadership to start embracing what it looks like is going to happen tomorrow, which is we like a little bit of socialism with our capitalism. I mean, what's wrong with it? I personally see nothing wrong with saying that Zohran Mamdani has a place in our party. We have a huge tip party. You can only have a huge tip party and have more people come in and joining your party when you're not doing purity tests on policy. And 2, when you're working and finding common goals, common solutions. We all want healthcare. That is something extremely easy that people on the right, people on the left, people in the middle can get all around. We just have to find a way to fund it. I think that we should probably go back to the 1950s, 1960s, when we had a much higher marginal tax rate. One, because I think that our billionaires and millionaires can afford it a lot more than our billionaires and millionaires did before. Because remember, there was a lot less millionaires and billionaires in this country prior to the 1990s. That's just a fact. Well, there you have it, guys. The polling is just not there for Donald Trump and the Republicans. I feel like there's going to be a huge sweep across the board. We're going to be continuing to outperform ourselves. We've been outperforming ourselves in many of these special elections, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of that. Personally, I'm going to be really keeping my eye out on the New Jersey race. I want to see, will Trump lose some of those Hispanic and Black voters that he gained inroads with? I truly don't understand how you can continue to vote for Trump considering how he's been with immigration and who's he's been giving pardons to, and some of the rhetoric that has been used on the right, especially towards Black and brown people in these last 48 hours, especially when it's on the entire topic of EBT. That is the only demographic in America that uses food subsidy programs. But y'all tell me what y'all think about all this in the comments. Remember, we're trying to get to 500 before the end of November. Please like, comment, subscribe. It's free. It lets other people know that this content exists and pushes it out to them. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.